Okay, so let's make that dun dun. Okay, so we're going to talk about the nervous system, breath, and capacity. And I feel like we hear a lot about the nervous system in yoga and a lot in life. And when we talk about nervous system regulation from the lens of yoga, the discussion is often just about down regulation. So if we're like, we're going to just unpack the nervous system in a sec, but really a healthy nervous system means that it has this big window of tolerance and the capacity to both down regulate, like when you go to bed at night, lay down, shut your eyes, your brain doesn't need to take over, you're like can just be calm. But also when you need to do something and exert yourself, you also have that capacity. So you can like have this big um, ability to respond to life as it suits you. So regulation, resilience, and adaptability. Um, and then the breath being a really important component here. So the breath shapes how we think, feel, and move. The nervous system drives behavior. So the neurological state that we're operating from is really going to impact the behavior that we choose, that we probably subconsciously participate in. So nervous system regulation we can impact and influence, but it is really just so important for like how we function and operate in the world. It's like when you're stressed out and you're like, be calm. It doesn't work. So we want to speak to the nervous system as opposed to say the brain, which the brain is part of the nervous system. But um, so regulation is capacity, not necessarily calm. And then before we talk about the tools to regulate, we just need to talk about like what it is that we're regulating. So the nervous system, we're going back to like grade school, is the central nervous system is your brain and spinal cord. And that's kind of like the biggest component. And then the peripheral nervous system is really the communication between the brain and the body. So the you can see the autonomic nervous system is then broken down into the sympathetic and parasympathetic states. So the autonomic is everything that's like automatic. And we can't directly change per se, but we can significantly influence. Like I can make my heart rate go higher or lower, or my breath or my digestion or my stress response be influenced in one way or another. But it's not the sense of heart rate faster. I have to like do something. My behavior is going to shift it. So this is the system we're influencing with breath, movement, and training practices. Also, feel free to ask questions. It's just you and I on here, so you just chat anytime you like. So autonomic nervous system is the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. And these are the things that are often talked about in like just modern conversation. Like people will refer to the sympathetic as the fight or flight and the parasympathetic as the rest and digest. And they are both branches of the autonomic nervous system. The branch of the nervous system that mobilizes to respond to threat is the sympathetic, and that's the fight or flight, increase your heart rate, blood pressure, mobilize glucose, oxygen, sharpens focus and reaction time. And this is really important that this branch of the nervous system is operating well so that in the event that we experience threat or stress or physical demand, your body can like mobilize and know what to do. This branch of the nervous system has a really bad rap. Everyone's like, this is bad, like cortisol is bad, stress is bad, but it's actually a really good thing. It's probably anything that is chronic and that we can't um, shift out of is that's when it becomes problematic. So sympathetic nervous system is half the story and it's essential for a healthy nervous system. Parasympathetic is the rest and digest. It's what supports recovery, repair, and restoration. So we're thinking slowing heart rate and breathing, enhanced digestion, immune function, and tissue repair. This is when we actually learn and integrate and emotionally process. So when you come to the gym and you learn a deadlift, we learn it, but your body really integrates that information in the resting period. So that's, I think, there's many reasons why Shavasana is important. And I'm kind of jumping from yoga to the gym, etc. But Shavasana is that integration of everything that you just did, both like the physical component, the energetic, the emotional, so your body can take that information and really like embed it deep within. Um, Essential for long-term health and resilience. So the ability for your body to move between these two states with ease and to respond appropriately to the external environment. So, like, if someone says something to you that is like cruel or mean, or your boss is an a hole or whatever it is, do I go deeply down that? Like, is my body receiving that as a threat to my life? Like, then is it an appropriate response to what's going on? And sometimes yes, sometimes no. Um, I always think of people who have road rage. Like, the level of intensity of your response right now isn't really matched to what just went on.
No,
So, no, not at all.
it's
It's
projected.
projected. I'm like, oh, you've got some unprocessed things. Um, so regulation is flexibility. So a healthy nervous system will easily be able to shift between neurological states, responding appropriately to the external environment, as opposed to being stuck in one state. So how we measure this is heart rate variability. Um, did you say you used to have a Fitbit thingy or something? You had
Yeah,
something.
like a smart ring. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it would have told you heart rate variability. Do you recall? Did you
Yeah.
ever look at that data?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's a marker of nervous system adaptability. And it's one of those things that is very personal. Like, if you compare someone's HRV to someone else's HRV, it doesn't really give you a good picture of what's going on. You have to compare your own HRV to your own HRV to see like what's relatively high or relatively low for you. So higher HRV means you have a greater capacity to respond to stress. So it's that balance between the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. Um, so actually, if we go back to this bit here, so if you look, autonomic nervous system broken down into the sympathetic and parasympathetic, which we just spoke about, and then polyvagal theory looks at the parasympathetic and breaks it down, looks at the vagus nerve, and then further breaks it down into three different branches: the ventral vagal, the dorsal vagal, and oops, the sympathetic. So it's really breaking the nervous system down into further to understand. So we are, if you would like, going to watch a little video.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, I do not have a paid YouTube account, so we just have to watch the ads first. Skip. Okay. Okay. So how do we go back to our beginning? Okay, so that's polyvagal theory is a quick overview of kind of understanding how the nervous system is always in response to what's going on outside us and why maybe we might behave in a particular way. Because this idea of rest and digest, I feel like doesn't give the whole picture. Like when I think they kind of consider it like if you are that foot brake is when you are in that position where you just kind of lose the ability to just like a depressed kind of state. Um, Not really taking proactive, but it's a not a conscious decision to be in that place. So
Um,
polyvagal theory. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying my psychologist, I think she just did the latter thing with me. She drew it out once and she talked about ventral, sympathetic, and dorsal. Um,
Yeah,
and we, and based on like our conversations and stuff, she was sort of saying like these are, but sort of talked about this is how you would feel in this state, like sort of emotions.
yeah,
And then we were able to sort of benchmark where on the ladder, like we felt that I was at that particular point.
yeah,
So yeah, yeah. So that sort of just totally reminded me that
yeah,
I had seen the ladder before.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, cool. And I think it's just it's one model, but it's one way to really kind of
Mm,
I guess, but it makes a lot of sense to me. And in the world that
mm,
we experience, through this kind of yogic lens of life, like it's really, I think, important. So
mm,
ventral being that safety and connection, sympathetic mobilization and action, dorsal is that shutdown and collapse. And it's that reminder that stillness doesn't equal regulation. Sometimes when someone is in, like, say, a depressed or dormant state, just doing yin is actually just going to keep them in that kind of shutdown collapse. Whereas, like, that would be a time where doing some strength training or going for a run or doing something stimulating would actually be really valuable to get them into that place of ventral vagal, um, which is really interesting. So when we know,
mm,
it's like when you know how sometimes maybe being social feels like a burden, and it's like I really don't want to go do this thing, and
mm,
sometimes valuing that is going to be really because that's what you need. Like if you're overstimulated, sometimes just staying home is what you need. But if you are
mm,
feeling down and depressed and collapsed, actually going out and communicating might be with certain people in a particular environment could be the valuable piece of the puzzle. Or
mm,
like going for a walk or whatever it might be. Oh, come back. Um, so the window of tolerance is really the nervous system's capacity to up and down regulate, the range in which you can respond to stress and return to baseline. So in addition to how high and how low you're capable of moving, it's also like your ability to return to that baseline state. So it's like if you get pulled, like for instance in that video, if the girl got really stressed out and then found out that it was like her dog, did she stay in that like anxious state, or
mm,
was her body like, oh no, we're fine, we're safe, we can just chill out now? So that's also really relevant in terms of the healthy nervous system. So includes both activation and recovery, not just about staying calm, but responding appropriately. Um, HRV, a higher HRV reflects greater capacity to shift between states, bigger window of tolerances, indicates efficient communication between sympathetic and parasympathetic systems. HRV reflects how well your system can adapt, not necessarily how relaxed you are. Expanding your window of tolerance. This is what we're training for. We build capacity by training both ends of the nervous system. So I think it's really cool because, I mean, it's you and I here this evening, but everyone else who is participating in the online coaching, they all come from a yoga background as well. So it's like especially like the yin practices and the yoga nidra and all that kind of stuff, we're really trying to
mm,
train that ability to downregulate. And then we come to the gym and we're trying to explore our capacity to upregulate so that you are just creating this really healthy system.
mm.
So, Down regulation is probably talked about a lot. Like it's really common on social media and just in life. Everyone's talking about nervous system regulation, and what they're really referring to is the down regulation. And as we just discussed, it's just like half the story. It's very important. Um, Things like, and this is the things that like you are familiar with, like nasal breathing. So this is going to slow your overall breathing rate, improve oxygen uptake and efficiency, stimulate nasal receptors linked to the parasympathetic activity, and it enhances nitric oxide production, supporting vascular health, a sense of safety and containment. So all of that is just bringing you into a state of that parasympathetic system. Lengthening the exhale is another really valuable way. Having a longer exhalation is stimulating the parasympathetic pathway and improves heart rate, breath coordination, and it shifts the body out of that threat response. So if you are feeling anxious, those longer exhales or nasal breathing can be really valuable. And even just like training those things. Just do you do any breath work just in your day to day?
Uh, when I used to meditate more regularly, I was.
Yeah.
But now breath work, usually it's something that I focus on in when I'm in yoga, or
Yeah.
if I get heart palpitations, I
Yeah.
will intentionally
Breathe. Yeah.
to try to
Yeah.
go away. So yeah,
Is it effective generally?
depends on the severity of the heart palpitations. If they're just
Hmm.
really minor, it
Yeah.
can. Like, or if
Yeah.
it's sort of, I feel sometimes I can feel like, oh, they're about to happen. So
Yeah.
then if I stop what I'm doing and just focus on my breathing, I can actually stop them from coming on.
Yeah.
But if they hit me sort of suddenly and they're really, really severe, breathing really doesn't
Yeah. Like it's
help.
not, yeah. Like you've already
Yeah.
like too far into it, too
Yeah.
intensive a, yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Like I
What?
literally at that point I have to go to sleep. Like my whole body has to actually, my brain has to shut down in
Yeah.
order for them to go away naturally. Otherwise, I now have medication that I can take. But
Yeah. Because
for many,
sometimes
many
you
years, I didn't have
can't
that.
always go to
So
sleep. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like, at the start of the day, sometimes I've woken up with them and I'm like, well, I can't go back to
Yeah.
sleep. So I kind of just have to deal with it. But yeah, for
Yeah.
many, many years when I didn't have medication, it was just like I had to just wait it out for a whole day and then go to sleep kind of thing. So yeah. So
Yeah.
breathing's been a big thing for a
Yeah.
while.
Okay. I'd be curious, and it's a big experiment, but I'd be curious if like you did, I mean, you do yoga quite a bit, but if you were to do like a daily breath practice of 5 minutes or something, this would also require like tracking over time to like notice if
Mm,
there was a decrease. Like, do you find that your
mm.
heart palpitations are more frequent when you're stressed?
Oh yeah, like they're entirely stress connected.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the like caffeine and things like that, my doctors have always told me don't have caffeine because it's a stimulant and it's not the cause of them, but it
Yeah.
doesn't help.
It's like flips the switch. Like it has a,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's entirely down to stress. Like, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's completely unconscious stress.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, like
Not be most of the time it is unconscious because they come at such random times and I'm like, I just woke up. How can I possibly be stressed? Like I
yeah,
literally just woke up. But it'll
it's
yeah, it's weird.
it's so I think the nervous system and like your body when I'm stressed, I get these like really bad eczema on my eyes and it will
Oh.
just yeah and I'm like, "Oh, this is really a look." And but it's so and it doesn't matter like what I use or what I eat
Mm,
or
mm.
whatever. It's just so it's actually now I've just come to almost appreciate it because it shows me what's really
Mm.
going on for me, even though I'm like, could we have done this like on my hand or something like that would have been cool.
Yeah.
My
Right
eyes.
in the face. Yeah.
Yeah,
Jeez.
but I'm like, okay, actually maybe it makes me deal with it sooner than I might have if it was on my hand because it's on my hand.
Yeah,
Um,
true.
it's interesting. Like I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah, it's
cool.
really interesting. Yeah, my psychologist is trying to stop me because when I get them, my immediate thought is that I want to get rid of them. And she's
Okay.
like, maybe if you just sit with it and try to like work out, like just sort of sit with the discomfort of those, like, and just sort of experience it instead of always constantly trying to, because the trying to get them to go away just makes me more anxious because they're not.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she's just, and I'm just like, it's really hard to like sit with them. She's like, no, no, it's really uncomfortable for you.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
It's not easy.
okay. She's
Yeah.
like, but that's not what this is. This is easy. I was like, great. So yeah, so I try to do that more often than I used to when I was younger and stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's weird. It's a weird thing to have.
I
Just as
get
like a
heart
side.
palpitations, but not for long periods. Like I'll get them
Yeah,
for
they're
like
common. Yeah.
a couple minutes.
Mm. Which is normal. Like that's what a lot of people get. Like, severe heart palpitations, I think is like an old person thing. Someone told me when I was younger, but yeah, I've had them since I was like 18 or something. So,
Yeah. And interesting. So interesting.
HSC, that's where it started. Was doing the HSC is where it started. So,
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll
yeah.
just see where it goes, whether it
But
stays
a
with you
breath practice
forever.
is probably, yeah, breath practice is probably a great idea, actually. Like, I've been meaning to do that, go back to something like that in the mornings or something for such a long time. So it would
Yeah.
be
Maybe this is the
yeah.
seed. Um,
Mm,
Potentially like in the morning, whether that's you deciding to do it on the train when you come in to the sessions or
mm,
and it's funny because some people like doing it 7 days a week when they first wake up is a lot easier than doing it 2 days a week because you just build the consistency. So you just figure out like what's
mm,
the most realistic, easy way for you to integrate it. So
mm.
if maybe you just do it on the train when you come to PT sessions, that's a way to commit to it twice a week. Or if you're like,
Yeah,
actually, no, I think it's valuable to just get out of bed and do it, like whatever's going to be the least barrier to entry and start with
yeah,
that
yeah. Yeah, it's a good idea.
potentially. And what breath practices have you done in the past?
A lot of like guided meditations and things.
Yeah.
And when during COVID, when I was really good at meditating every day because I couldn't leave my house, I had a lot of time. I just listened to music, like just very
Like
like kind of the
chill.
music that
Yeah.
Nat plays in yoga, like the real
Uh-huh.
sort of like
Mhm.
Kimberly and whatever kind of music.
Yeah.
And that worked quite well as well
Yeah.
because if there's exterior noise and like I live on the train line and all this stuff, so if there's exterior noise, it takes me out of
Yeah.
what I'm doing. So I either need to wear like earplugs, so all I can hear is my breath, or
Or
I need some sort
headphones.
of yeah,
Yeah.
some sort of noise that my brain can focus on whilst also
Yeah.
breathing. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course. What apps have you used for the guided meditation?
I used to use what's that one? Headspace.
Yeah.
I was using that for a long time. And now I have one called Insight Timer or something like that, I think it's
Yeah.
called.
That is one that exists.
Yes, that is, and that's the one that I've been using. And I still, back in October when I was meditating, and it also got me to set intentions. And I've not kept up the meditation, but I have kept up the setting of intentions like
Oh, that's
every
good.
day.
Yeah.
So
That's
like set
great.
on my phone.
Yeah.
So it'll like remind me, like set an intention. I was like, okay. So I'll think about it, I'll set an intention. So I've kept that up for like months, which is great. And that's
That's
through
so good.
Insight Timer.
And that's
Yeah,
actually kind
yeah.
of good because that means you're already engaging with the app daily.
Yeah,
So that might be the
yeah,
app to use. And
yeah.
I always think like the most effective thing, like you just have to try whatever works for you. It's like something like the tone of someone's voice, which you know, because you've explored all this stuff, and the music and what's being said.
Mm,
And just because if we enjoy it, we're going to do it more.
yeah,
And that's just the main thing. Um,
yeah, yeah.
like it really is. Like, does it matter if you do a different one every day? Yes and no. Like I think like doing something is better than doing nothing. And we're not trying to be
Mm,
perfect. We're just trying to make positive change in all of these different avenues. And like I feel like when the rules are too rigid, like you must do this for 20 minutes at this time every day and 20 minutes at this time. I'm like, that just creates too many barriers to entry.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Which like sometimes that's what people need, but yeah, I think just
yeah,
simple.
yeah, definitely.
Um, and then the other end of the spectrum is upregulation. So the ability to mobilize, tolerate stress, and meet demand so that when we are presented with challenge, say for instance, like you are currently presented with challenge in your life, it means that you can respond, that you don't just lay down and be like, okay, well, we'll come, we'll come. And it's like, how do I engage with what's going on and, have a resilience to daily demands. So a wide window of tolerance is what we're searching for. So when we do, whether we think about it in yoga, when we do something difficult, or in the gym, we do something difficult, it's like that. And then more specifically is looking at cardiovascular training, because the HRV is a measure of the heart rate variability. So training your cardiovascular system is what we're exposing the nervous system to controlled stress, so that it's getting exposure to the stressful environment intentionally, so that when it gets exposure to the stressful environment unintentionally, it knows how, has the capacity to be there. Train the heart and lungs to respond efficiently, improves recovery after activation, and builds confidence in tolerating elevated heart rate and breath. So it's like kind of like with the heart palpitations, like they just
Mm.
suck and they're uncomfortable. And like, say for instance, the stuff I did on the weekend, it really is not that comfortable. It's not really that nice. But you're building your tolerance and your capacity to endure these types of things. Um, yeah. So a nervous system that never practices stress becomes overly sensitive to it. So
Like getting tattoos is such a good practice.
such a good practice. This
So
is
good.
such a good practice. Oh, are you excited for Saturday?
Yes, I am. I can't wait for it to be like more finished.
Are
Yeah.
you gonna
So,
get them? You're gonna not use the numbing cream again. I'm so impressed.
yeah, she asked me if I wanted to use it last time I saw her, and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna power through without it
Who
because
are you?
shading, I don't know, the shading, I'm trying to test my nervous system for stress. The parts that she did before were sort of the darker shading, so I feel like that was the worst of it, and hopefully like what she does is just the lighter shading and it won't be so bad. I say this now, I could completely go there on Saturday and just be crying and like on my side, like
Mm.
tears just going down, yeah, internal
Well,
pain.
I
So
will require updates again. This is very
of course,
important.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, of course, photos of my
Yeah.
face in probably in
Mm.
pain, I don't know, whatever. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Like getting a tattoo is quite taxing on the nervous system. Very taxing.
I would say so. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Because your body's like, what is happening? Why is there a needle in me? And constantly, it's like, shh. Yeah.
Yeah, you feel like you're under threat, but I'm like, you're like in it, but it's like equally, I feel like I'm in a safe place, but I like still, but my body, like my brain is like, no, you're safe. My body's like, no, I'm not. And it's, yeah, it's a very strange situation.
Very fascinating. I always
Mm.
get like cold sweats. I think I said this to you. When I get the tattoo, I'm like sweating and I'm freezing. And I'm like so confused. I'm like, ugh.
See, when I was there, it was so hot that day. I was just sweating, full stop.
Mhm,
Like yeah, they had to put a fan on me because I was just profusely
mhm.
like sweating. It was a very hot day that day, actually. This
Yeah,
weekend should be better, actually. So,
so much better this weekend.
yeah.
Um, okay, so the point of all of this is to kind of bring these things to light because they're important, and then just to invite in that capacity to continue with the cardio training. So, what I would love to do specifically with you with your sessions, because we've been doing some cycling in the beginning, is
Hmm.
actually transition the cardio to the end of the session,
Hmm.
and just do a few little intervals. So where you are having periods of exertion and periods of rest or
Hmm.
lower exertion, and to start to play with that kind of thing. And the assault bike is so good because it's so hard. And the resistance of it means that it's easy to do short bursts and it'd be really valuable. Like you don't need a lot of
Mm.
output to for it to have really profound effects on our cardiovascular system. Mhm. So
Is it
that's
called an
the
assault bike? Is that its actual name?
yeah, it's
Yeah, that makes
aggressive.
sense.
It
Yeah, that
does.
makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Yeah, I
I'm
felt I felt like my legs had felt like they were assaulted afterwards. So
yeah, hilarious. That's what it's called. But yeah, it is. It's a good one. It's a good one. I'm gonna start
mm.
using it more too, so I can feel your pain. I used to ride that thing every day, and I have not really done it much for a year or two.
It's just it looks so unassuming, you know? It's a bike. Yeah,
It's a
it's
bike.
be fine.
It's a
Be
bike.
fine.
Yeah.
And it's really not. not just a bike.
Not just a bike. Yeah. Okay, so what would be a realistic expectation for you for introducing meditation-y, breathworky type vibes? What would be your self-appointed target goal for the month or for however long?
Um, I'm trying to think of like what's been the obstacle for me to doing it.
Yeah,
Um, and I think previously when I tried to redo it again recently, I thought I would incorporate it as part of like my nighttime routine because I thought it might help me sleep better. But
yeah,
I actually found that I was so tired by the time I was going to bed. I just can't be
yeah,
bothered, or I just want to go to sleep, or I'd fall asleep. And
yeah,
so that actually didn't work out so great. So I actually think mornings are probably a better time.
yeah,
Um, and I think just trying to just get up and do it in bed, just sitting there comfortably, and whether it's just breathing and doing the